What it do, welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna talk about the present moment and why it's always escaped. The present moment is all ever existed. It's the only time that we have, and it's also the only time that exists. And even the word time shows that it's an illusion, because if the present moment is all there ever is, then you can't even really talk about time, if that makes sense. And that's the phenomena of psychological time. Psychological time is just time created with the psyche. And with time, I'm referring to a point different than the current moment created with the psyche. And it's within everything. We're always distracting ourselves. We're always time traveling, basically. That's what we're doing with our minds. We're always hyper-stimulating ourselves with all these substances. And what we're just doing is escaping the present moment. Always, that quest is within everything. If you see what the masses do in life, and with mass I'm talking about the society, everybody, all they're doing is just that. No matter what they're doing drugs, eating all those foods, things like that. That's just what they're doing. And the thing with that is, you can, like, that makes it funny. And that's why I say time is an illusion, because why it's an illusion is the present moment is all there is. So escaping the present moment, you're gonna escape the present moment in the present moment. That sounds crazy, right? But that shows, like, you can't escape the only thing there is. And this creates separation, because we're always longing for all these places. Like, yeah, if we only had the money to be there, or if you were stronger and smarter, then we could do this and that. And that your life just becomes a life full of not what you want it to be. And not only will this, and sometimes that realization is good. We look in the mirror like, damn, I'm not where I want to be. I need to grind harder. But that's not what happens. Because what happens is they're not clocked in with the present moment. So they're always longing to a far place where they see themselves having $100,000 and things like that. But they're never living in the present moment. So they're never thinking about what they need to do in the present moment, which are very small steps. And like, I was really about that psychological time, and I was really always focusing on trauma. I was really focusing on trauma. Like, basically, I read all the books, and they really served a purpose. It did me good. I can't lie about that. I really can't lie about it, that it did me good. But what it will just do is you will really get stuck in psychological time, because trauma is always something. It's reference to the past. That's really what it is. It's experiences that happened in the past. And even if you think about it, like, the entire past, the word itself, etc., is just an entire illusion, because the past is just you thinking about a thought where you're recalling the feelings that you felt during that present moment that you're recalling in your mind. There, the past, it don't exist. It's just an entire illusion. And what will happen if we are stuck in the past, a place that doesn't exist? We don't have an anchor point. An anchor point is just where you station your vehicle. And with your vehicle, I mean your personal body. That's where you calm down. That's where you anchor yourself to. But if you anchor yourself in the past, you never have the power. And what I mean with anchoring is, let's say there need to be a business deal made. If I anchor in the present, then that means, okay, I just need to do that. But if I anchor in the past, then I'll be like, yeah, but I feel kind of anxious, and I don't know if I should do this right now. I don't know if it's for me right now to do this. And that's where the entire illusion comes into play because the place you're referencing to doesn't exist. And the Buddha says, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Pain is anxiety that you're feeling in the current moment. In the current moment, let's say I'm anxious to go to that business deal. That's just that. But the labels that you put onto it, that's where the suffering comes into play, because now you're referencing to psychological time. Now you're referencing to a place that doesn't exist. And because the place doesn't exist, you won't have power in that situation because the entire situation don't exist. So you're referencing to the past. You're talking about, nah, I can do that, man. I'm traumatized. Where does the trauma lay? Can you define the trauma? Can you see the trauma? Can the mind really apprehend the trauma? And this is not saying, this is true. You need to go through a process of kind of like, how would I say it, making sense of the trauma. But the earlier you realize this, the better you're off. Because I'm not going to downplay anybody's life experiences. I can tell that out of own experiences. There are life experiences that are like fucking tough. If I'm just like, being honest, there are life experiences that are tough. And those require really understanding, and that will take time. But the earlier you can understand it, that the place you're referencing to, the place that where all your pain lays, is an illusion because it's no longer here. Then you will, and that needs understanding. That's why the most cliche thing, but the deepest truth in life is the present moment is all there is. And it's really cliche. Like I said, it's really cliche. But why it's so deep? Because it revolves layers of mind. Your first mind is not present enough to really understand and really like emotionally understand that truth. The more you become present yourself, then you really notice like, damn it, bro, like it goes very deep. Everybody knows it, but knowing is not enough. You need that emotional understanding, really feeling like, yeah, what I'm seeing right here and now is all there is. And the rest that I'm putting onto it is just labels. And the thing with labels is, we need labels. We need labels to make sense of, okay, this is this, this is that. We need that. These are my contact liquids. So we need those things. We need those things to make sense of, okay, what's happening around us. But it's just that. The problem arises when we define ourselves through the labels. And labels are defined by linguistics. Linguistic is just language. And your language probably consists out of what? 26 characters. That's what my language alphabet consists out of. So my entire labels that I can put onto situations and people and animals consist out of those 26 characters. 26 characters are finite. Why? Because it's 1 to 26. It's finite. You can define it. Life is infinite. So whatever you will do, whatever attempt you will make to define the infinite with the finite, your alphabet, labels, words will fail. Why? Because life is infinite. You can't define the infinite. The infinite is just like, if I see a girl, if I approach her, one possibility is that she'll be like, yeah, I want to talk to you. We can date, do this and that. Another possibility would be like, she might think I'm so ugly, she might commit suicide. We might have sex on the spot. Another possibility. She might get ran over by a car when I'm approaching her. Like, those are all possibilities. Those are infinite. And the thing is, when your mind is on the loose, when your mind is continuously trying to define the infinite through referencing to the past and doing this and that, it will never stop. Why? Because you're going to make sense of the infinite. So your mind will continue to run for days, for months, for years. It will never stop. Why? It's infinite. So in programming, you have a loop. A loop is basically a block of code that will run as long as the condition is true. And the condition in this case is just a thought. A thought will always be true. Why a thought will always be true? A thought is, like I've said, I can have a thought that, yeah, that girl might think I'm so ugly. It's a possibility, and if it's a possibility, it's automatically true. But all the thousands and millions other possibilities are also true. So what will happen is that loop will continue to run. But what if you think, what if you do this? And what will happen, your mind will crash, just as a computer. When I was just learning programming, I was writing a loop in JavaScript. What happened is I didn't define the loop. You need to define a loop like, okay, this loop runs for like as long as the current iteration is on like what is under 50. Okay, then that loop will run 50 times, or no, 49 times. But if you don't define it, which is basically what we're doing if we're trying to make sense and looping, if we're looping about the infinite, then it will never stop. And that's what happened with my program that I run on my computer. So like I've said, I was running JavaScript, I was running the loop, but I didn't define when the loop should have stopped. So what happened? My computer crashed. Why? Because it couldn't handle the infinite iterations of the loop, keep it continuously running. And that's what will happen with your mind. That's why people become depressed. That's why people become anxious, like too anxious. Like it's no longer fun to be alive. That's where depression, overly anxiety and shit, that's all same shit. Like basically with everything in life, it's all interconnected. So yeah, that's what will happen. Your mind will crash and then you're burned out. In that sense, we're not that different from computers and all those things. That's really funny. Like if you break the things down enough, then you will see at the end of the day, it's all the same truth. It's just different metric systems. It's just different ways of defining the truth, or attempt of defining the truth. So that's what will happen if your mind will continue to run. Your mind will continue to run about the past, all the possibilities of life, this and that. Your mind will crash. And the only way how we can stop this is through anchoring ourselves. Through anchoring ourselves and really be like, at first it's gonna be hard, but it's like it's a learning process. At first it's gonna be hard. It will feel like that's the only way why we escape the present moment, because it really feels like mentally you're dying. The psychological time is what you identify with. You identify with the past. So you identifying with the past, the moment you no longer identify with the past and just be present in the unknown, you lose your identity. So your ego dies. That's really ego death. That's why when you first start meditation, and especially when you're so anxious, it really feels like dying. I've had that, and it's very crazy mentally, and not even to sound like too crazy, but this probably will sound crazy, but fuck it. Like when I was very anxious, my mind just ran the words, I want to die. And not even serious, I'm not with that suicide shit, so fuck that. But that's what my mind ran, like, I want to die. Why? Because that was the ego identity. And the ego was scared of the present moment, the possibilities of the present moment, because the ego can't define the present moment. It's too different from the labels. So that's that. it always starts with anchoring, but the anchor, you need to become aware. And becoming aware is a process that, like, it even requires some awareness to become aware. And that's really it. Like, you won't become aware until you start giving something that you never tried a chance, and broaden your perception and becoming more and more aware through that. Because awareness is just like, it's just the program that our mind runs when we're connected with the present moment. That's just awareness. So the first step is always become aware. And awareness, I would say it really starts with reading books. Reading books is the first thing that you probably should do to become aware, because what will happen is you read a book and all of a sudden you read something that you always, because all the things that you always like, all the anxieties, and you're not aware of it because you really see it as one truth. It feels so true to you, like, nah, this is all there is to me. You don't know any different. So until you read it in a book or you hear it in a podcast, then you'll be like, damn, this other person also struggled with that. And it's not even something really, like, I'm not gonna say that it's not normal, but it's like, oh damn, this is that. So that's not even really a part of me. That is just a result of my conditioning. That's the awareness. But you need to first give awareness a chance through, like I said, reading books, podcasts. That's for, like, everybody's journey, whatever they're doing, of changing life starts with that new experience. And that can be, you can walk on the street and meet somebody and have that new experience, but you can also more have it in your own control by searching for that awareness for yourself, by going to events, reading books, learning podcasts. And then you will realize, okay, whatever I'm going through is not really that normal. It's not really that, how would I say it? It's not really that normal. It's something part of my conditioning. Now you can have the chance to really anchor to the present moment and become aware that it's just a label. And the thing with the labels, the only reason why we're scared of all those things, that whatever, all the situations that your mind is scared of, is because of the labels, because labels define things. So failure is just your current skill stack not sufficient enough to resolve the current moment's problem. That's just a failure. So whether that's communication and you're not able to convey your message properly, that's like kind of failure. But it's just that your skill stack is just not capable enough right now. But if you really have those big labels like failure, and like everybody talks about failure, yeah, you're a failure, then you come to fear those labels. And that's why you're scared of being a failure, because you've put crazy labels on something that will happen in life. That's just a given of life. You walking up to a girl and she telling you no, she is just exerting her free will. There's basically nothing really rejection about it. Those are just crazy labels that we attach different meanings. Automatically it's rejection, failure, you're weak, you're a bitch. That's the program that runs in your mind. Oh, I got rejected, I'm a failure, I'm a bitch, I'm weak. That's a program that runs in your mind. Why? Through all those labels. You just identified with the bitch label. You just identified with weak label. You just identified with the failure label, with the rejection label. That's the only reason why you're scared of those things. What you fail to realize is you're defining the 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 the, the indefinable. It's undefinable. Life is undefinable. All those things will happen. And the labels that you put onto yourself, that creates suffering. And that's why I will repeat, like, pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. Suffering is all about the labels that you put onto the pain that you're experiencing in the current moment. So, to come back, once you gain the awareness about, like, all those things, like I've said, all those things are just a given of life. They're undefinable. So whatever happens in life is infinite. You can't define it. So you going through a situation that gets labeled as rejection doesn't define you. And once you have that awareness, you can anchor, you can breathe and think like, okay. And then you can really start to be powerful, because now you can really swipe the labels, and then you become a powerful motherfucker. And this takes time, a lot of time, but you will become more powerful and powerful. Then you'll be like, okay, yeah, cool. Now you stop seeing all those thoughts no longer as, that doesn't define me. So now you're talking with somebody, and I've really had that. Now you're talking with somebody, and all of a sudden you get a thought like, you don't have communication skills, and all of a sudden you become awkward and start looking at the ground, and like now you become so aware and so anchored with it that now you really become the observer of your mind. Now you can swipe it like, okay, nah, this, okay, cool, but nah, I don't want that. Okay, this thought is cool, and without like basically telling them, no, it's wrong. This thought is wrong. You're just, okay, cool. Flow of life. Be like water, Bruce Lee shit. So that's just that step. That's just that step. Like those 3 steps, and you could break it down in more steps if you want, like with every framework, but it's really just that awareness. But you first need to, like I said, so it first thing is awareness, becoming aware of whatever you're experiencing, and that becomes through reading about the problem that you're having and all those things, reading about it. Once you're aware, you can anchor, and that's just, the anchoring is just the process of strengthening your mind, of staying anchored. It's just a bicep curl where basically every time you're able to don't let your thoughts define you, you're doing a bicep curl. Like every time you're doing a mind curl, every time, boom, boom, boom. Do that for a year, and you won't recognize the person that you was a year ago. Right? Because you don't even really define yourself as this and that no more. You don't even have labels anymore. So now you're just be like, oh yeah, I can do everything. Basically, that's really what it becomes, because the reason why you're scared to do those things is because of that. You're scared of the impossibilities. You're scared of the infiniteness of life. So that's the three steps, which is, and it's basically like this. Like I've said, every time you're anchoring more in the present moment, you're doing a mind curl, and it's basically like this. First, you need to become aware that you have the possibility of doing a bicep curl. So you want to grow your bicep. First, you need to be aware that you can grow your bicep by doing a bicep curl, or doing a push-up, or doing this and that. Okay, that's one. And now you start actually doing it. Now you start doing it. Boom, you start doing push-up, you start doing bicep curls. And the third thing is basically maintaining it and realizing that it's a game. It's just a game, and it's an infinite game. Why? Because life is infinite. So every game that we will play within the game of life will be infinite. So it's infinite. It's a process. That shit don't stop. Being conscious will never stop. Never. And I'm not saying, yeah, I am saying, like, Your goal should be to be always conscious. Always, whatever you're doing. And then you will really enjoy everything that you're doing. And now you become able to eat McDonald's without feeling guilty. Doing this and that without feeling guilty. Why? Because you're so conscious. You don't even put those labels on yourself. No, I'm not being a multi-billion dollar entrepreneur. I just ate 2 McDonald's. You no longer do that shit. You're just so conscious. It's just, okay, yeah, cool. Just life. You're flowing. And that's the step to everything. That's the step to everything. That's the step to finding your purpose. That's the step to actually make money through your purpose. Because what will happen is, once you no longer put those labels on yourself, now you actually give yourself the freedom to explore life, and you will find your interest, and you will find what you like. And now you're no longer scared to do the task within your interest, because you're no longer define the task as, oh, this is so hard. It's just present moment shit. And you start doing them slowly but surely. And you will find your way. You will find your purpose. You will be able to monetize. You will be able to provide value through your interest and gaining money from it, and build your dream life. Step by step. Consciousness through expanding your consciousness. Consciousness, awareness, however you want to call it, is the basis of life. The energy, it's the all. So whatever you do in life starts with growing consciousness. Everything, growing a business is just growing consciousness that you can grow that business. So that was my video for today. I hope it's clear that the 3-step framework, how you can anchoring yourself in the present moment, becoming aware, actually doing observing the awareness and knowing that, okay, I have a choice. This is just not me. And the third one is just the entire process. And that's why I say it's not even a 3-step, because the 3rd step never stops. You just keep gaining more and more consciousness. So thank you for watching my video. I'm gonna leave my socials in my description. Check it out. And I will see you the next time, man. I'm out.